Hello everybody, Quiet Atheist here. In a previous discussion I had with Capricious Black Box, I told him that I really ignore what theists have to say here on YouTube because they never really have anything to bring to the table when it comes to an actual argument. Their version of an actual argument is bringing the same old tired arguments to the table time and time again. Now, I did tell Capricious Black Box there are occasions when a theist would say something that grabs my attention, and as a result of this I get motivated to make videos, which is why I'm making this particular video today. Now, G-Man, I am basically addressing you in this particular video now. Now, I realize that you'll probably ignore this video basically because you ignored everything else I have thrown at you in the past. But it really doesn't matter because I'm merely making this video for my subscribers, and I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest to my subscribers. And with that said, G-Man, I'm going to be addressing an argument that you had laid out in your most recent Hangout that you had. And there are a few things that I have a problem with. But before I do this, I must inform you that I am merely talking about myself because I cannot talk about other atheists, okay? I'm only talking about my position, and I'm basically going to be ripping apart your argument, if you will, from my own position, and we can go from there. Now, you can either choose to watch this video or you can choose to ignore it. It really doesn't matter. Like I said, I'm making it for my subscribers. So with that said, let's get on to addressing the argument that you made in your most recent Hangout. Now, the first thing that I want to mention is the fact that you seem to be ignoring a lot of what us atheists have to say about this first part of the argument that I want to talk about. I say this because you keep saying that, atheists claim that there is no God. Okay, now I'm only going to be answering from my position with this, like I have said earlier. I do not claim that there is no God, okay? I believe that that type of knowledge is unknowable. That type of knowledge is unreachable. A person would literally have to know everything that there is to know about this universe to make any kind of claim of that nature whatsoever, period. But being that the fact that, this type of knowledge is unreachable and unknowable, it is an impossibility to know if there is a God or not. And that's something that you need to realize, G-Man. All you have is your faith. And faith to me is beyond what the mind can perceive as a reality. Now, I know what you're going to say in regards to this because of the fact that you have somehow adopted this whole presuppositional mindset. You're going to say, well, I received some direct revelation from someone that does know everything. Therefore, God, if you will. While you do realize what you have to do now, do you? You have to demonstrate with flawless evidence how you are receiving this, direct revelation from a God, if you will. Because it's not a matter of causation, it's a matter of correlation. You got to display the direct evidence of how he gives his direct revelation to you. You've got to show us how it correlates. And that's all there is to it. But before you even do that, you got to go way back to the beginning of the argument. Okay, you must first define God, yet again with flawless evidence. And by flawless, I mean peer-reviewed, actual observable evidence. Plain and simple. Otherwise, your conversation or your argument is over before it even gets started. G-Man, before I get into the next part of your Google Hangout argument, if you will, I must inform you yet again that I'm merely answering for myself. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you are accusing me of being my own God, if you will. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But first, I want to share these definitions with you that I have for you because you seem to lack the ability to understand the alleged attributes of your alleged God. So basically, I want to share these definitions with you. So here we go. Number one, a being conceived as the perfect, omnipotent, omniscient, omnibenevolent, omnipresent, originator, and ruler of the universe. The principal object of faith and worship in monotheistic religions. Number 2, the force, effect, or manifestation or aspect of this being. Number 3, a being of supernatural powers or attributes believed in and worshipped by a people, especially a male deity thought to control some part of nature or reality, if you will. Now, tell me, what part of these alleged attributes of your alleged God do I possess? You want to know the answer? 0. I have no abilities to be a God. And the reason why I say I have no abilities to be a God is because of the fact that when you accuse me of being my own God, you're speaking from a theistic sense, G-Man. You're speaking as if I have powers to be a God, which in all actuality I do not have any powers. Now, arguably, I can be omnipresent to a degree. I could go here in the state of Texas to the state line to my home state, New Mexico, and I could put one foot on this side of the state line and one foot on the other side of the state line. And I could be in Texas and New Mexico at the same time. Hey, I'm omnipresent. That's probably the closest to omnipresent I'd be. But I cannot be everywhere at the same time. So when you claim that I am my own God, you are completely wrong and incorrect. And that is what I wanted to share with you. Please feel free to really let these definitions soak into your mind. Because obviously I lack any of these abilities. I can't see into the future. I cannot turn water into wine. I cannot walk on water. I cannot do any of these things. And I really want you to soak all of this in and really pay attention to what I'm saying here. And perhaps you will get the picture and you won't keep repeating this all of the time. Now, the next part I want to talk about in your Google Hangout argument, if you will, is the fact that you say that I am my own final authority, and I'm going to have to disagree with you on that. Okay. And here's why. Now, I'm giving you an example, and I'm going to be using the police. Say I go 3 streets up from where I live and break into a house, for example. Okay. Cops come. By your definition of me being a final authority, if you will, I do not have to answer to these cops because I broke into this house. You are completely wrong. There's people that have a higher position of authority than I do, namely the police officers. Okay? They're going to arrest me and take me to jail for breaking into a house. That is against the law. I am not my own final authority. When I do these things that damage civilization, when I do these things that jeopardize the safety of civilization as we know it, I am not my own final authority. A higher authority will come in and take me from civilization and put me somewhere where I cannot be a risk to anyone. Okay, I'm not my own final authority. You are completely incorrect when you say that. The next thing that I want to talk to you about is you say that I am my own final judge. You are completely wrong. And back to the example I gave you with the breaking into the house and me being arrested, if you will, and the police being involved. I go see a judge in a courtroom who has a higher position of authority, again, than I do. They are going to determine that what I did in civilization is illegal, and they are going to punish me with anything they desire to give me. And it is their right because they are the judge and they have to enforce the law. Okay? I am not my own judge at all, period. So again, you are incorrect. And the reason why I talk about all of these things is because of the fact that you seem to ignore this. Okay? Now, you will also say because, that I myself have no basis for morality. I have no foundation, if you will, for morality because of the fact that you have adopted this whole presuppositional mindset, if you will. And I'm going to have to disagree with you on that. You see, morality has evolved with us as we developed over time through evolutionary means. Okay. Morality has an evolutionary process just like we do to fit our own, separate societies, if you will. What this group has, they think is moral. What this group has, they think is moral, and naturally they're going to disagree on what's moral. Okay. Well, one thing can be answered here. Morality has evolved to fit these particular groups' environment, if you will. Okay? It has an evolutionary process as well, and that's something that you really need to pay attention to. All of these things that I'm saying in this video, G-Man, you really need to pay attention to them because you seem to lack the ability to understand what I'm talking about here. And like I said, morality has an evolutionary process as well. Over time, morality was determined by civilization, in different parts of the world. It has evolved in different environments to fit the peoples in those environments and what they deem was moral or immoral, if you will. And your whole concept of morality is completely flawed, especially because you cannot provide any evidence whatsoever for your alleged creator. So therefore you cannot tie morality to this alleged creator, if you will. You got to provide all of that evidence. In all actuality, you are basically borrowing our system of morality, if you will, and combining it with your religion. Therefore making all of these factless claims that you are making. And that is what I have to say on this particular subject. Because nothing that you talk about has any facts to it whatsoever. You could go on and go on and go on and go on, and nothing is going to matter. Because you offer no evidence to back up what you say. Like I said about morality, it has evolved to fit the human species and different species all over the planet. And I'm going to give you one example before I go. I want you to think about a pride of lions, if you will. Now, generally, when we talk about a pride of lions, what happens in a pride of lions? Generally, there's 1 to 2 males who run the pride. Okay? Depending on the pride and depending on the size of the pride, if you will. Now, these males patrol the pride, they patrol the territory, and they fend off other males, okay, because they want these males to invade the space of their family that they have and take it over. They don't want this to happen. Why? Because they believe it is wrong to do this. They will literally give their lives because these particular males in the pride think it is wrong for another group of males to come in and take over. So they will literally give their lives to protect their family that they have. Now let's say these 2 males are unsuccessful and these new males come into the pride and take over the pride completely. Guess what's going to happen? Those 2 new males are going to kill every cub they see in this pride. Why? Because they don't want any other offspring but their own. This is where the lioness comes in. Okay? The lioness with the particular cubs will give her life to protect these cubs. Why? Because the lioness thinks that it is wrong for these lions to come in and kill their cubs. She will give her life. She will fight to the death. Quite possibly she'd probably kill one of the lions. Why? Because they are attacking her children. And in society all around the world, you've got parents that would literally protect their children to the death if they had to. Morality is an extravagant thing that can be demonstrated in our species that has an evolutionary process like we do. That's all there is to it. As far as your version of morality is concerned, it is incorrect. But that is a whole nother video I'm going to be getting into soon, G-Man. With that said, I'm out. Okay? And to my subscribers, Quiet Atheist is out. Please feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think. Please feel free to share this video with anyone that might be interested, whether it be on Facebook, Tumblr, wherever you guys hang out. Please feel free to share it there as well. I really thank you guys for watching. And most of all, I thank all of my subscribers from day one till now for being here on my channel and actually listening to what I have to say. Thank you. And till next time, I'm out. And you guys have a wonderful night, day, morning, wherever you guys are in the world. And be on the lookout for my next video. And G-Man, please look at this video because it is something that I really wanted to say to you. And I wanted to basically get it off my chest. So with that said, later. Oh yeah, G-Man, I almost forgot. There were a couple of other things in your argument that I was thinking about addressing, but I decided to take it upon myself not to address them because they are nothing but trivial nonsense, plain and simple. And I think that anyone with a brain can understand that they are trivial nonsense. And that's all I have to say about those particular little arguments that you had in your one giant Google Hangout argument, if you will. And that's all I have to say. So watch the video if you want, ignore it if you want, it is your choice.